Hello and welcome. This is the weekend explosive debate and my name is Sanjay Singh. This evening we're taking a look at the dramatic twists around the Wrestling Federation of India's elections. This Thursday it elected Sanjay Singh as the new president of the WFI. Sanjay Singh is a known loyalist of the last president. Six-time BJP MP Brij Bhushan Singh, a Goliath in the sport who has been accused, you may already know this, since Jan of sexual assault in multiple complaints from multiple women in incidents dating back to 2012 and onwards. Now, after winning the election on Thursday, Sanjay Singh went straight to Brij Bhushan's house and images of the garlanded BJP MP Brij Bhushan Singh were everywhere. The messaging clear. He seemed invincible. Now, moments after that, we saw Sakshi Malik, who'd been championing the protests all the way since January, tearfully say she was giving up the sport, finally. This afternoon, a sudden twist in the tides. The government suspending the entirely newly elected Wrestling Federation of India body. They've requested the Indian Olympic Association, the IOA, to constitute an ad hoc committee to manage the daily affairs. But tonight on the show, what we're asking is this anywhere near enough? How can we properly assess young wrestlers' fears? How can we create a system that protects them, that empowers them, and most importantly, one that enables them? This is the look tonight.
संजय सिंह भुइहार बिरादरी के हैं, यानी कि मेरे वो रिश्तेदार नहीं है। तो अब जो भी कहना होगा, सरकार से बात करनी होगी या कोर्ट में जाना होगा, इससे मेरा कोई लेना देना नहीं।
महिलाओं ने जो कहा कि हमारी जो प्रेसिडेंट हैं वो महिला होनी चाहिए, उसके अंदर मुझे लगता है कि और कुछ नहीं तो रोटेशन बेसिस पे जो है इसके अंदर महिला के लिए जो है रिजर्वेशन कर देना चाहिए।
Okay, let's take a look at the timeline of these events first. We just want to give you all the information before we go over to our guests. Let's take a look at the screen behind me. This started 12 months ago. In Jan 2023, the wrestlers began their sit-in. On the left, you can see Sakshi Malik. She's going to come up again and again in this entire discussion. But the two people, center and on her right, are also important. Bajrang, Punia all the way to the right. We'll go through this in just a second. But the wrestlers stir against the WFI chief Brij Bhushan begins. Let's move on. Next point. What are they protesting against? A few things. Firstly, they're saying there's been financial mismanagement. Secondly, they're saying there are irregularities in the way the WFI is run. But number three, most seriously, they allege him of sexual exploitation. That's the specific wording is very important here. April 2023, the WFI announces polls. This is after an oversight committee. So those wrestlers protested in January. The government said we are going to form an oversight committee that will look at everything that's taking place. The government also said Brij Bhushan Singh will sit out while this committee does its investigation. That committee is the OC, and as you can see, after the OC submits its report, it was a private report, it was never made public, the WFI announces it's going to have elections. Now, we do know, though it was never made public, we knew that one or two things were said in that report. Number one, it was said that mismanagement was taking place. Number two, it also said that an internal complaints committee was never set up inside the organization like it should have been. Now, in April, the sports minister stalls. So, Anurag Thakur steps in, he stalls the Wrestling Federation polls, and the IOA, that's the Indian Olympic Association we just spoke of, they form an ad hoc committee. Keep in mind, there are a few committees overlooking this entire operation. Mary Kom in both of them, but a number of other. PT Usha, for example, heading one committee, Mary Kom actually heading the other. Now, May 2023, this is that famous incident, heartbreaking visuals of our wrestlers. They decided to walk to the newly inaugurated Parliament building. They were stopped on the way. You had medalists, award-winning medalists, wrestlers stopped. These visuals of them being carried out, and those visuals went viral. As you can see, that was a clash between the Delhi police and the wrestlers. Let's move on very quickly. Brij Bhushan is finally booked. This is after the Supreme Court intervening. Now, after he's booked, there are 7 people in that complaint against him. At that point, one of them is also a minor, though we'll touch on that in just a second. June 2023, the wrestlers halt their protests after the sports minister assures action. I want to point out to you, this is the second time the wrestlers start and then have to halt their protests because the government says we're going to do something about it. July 2023, interim bail is given to Brij Bhushan. The police says they're looking into this and polls are rescheduled once more. Remember, these polls have been rescheduled multiple times for August. Let's move on very quickly. August 2023, the Punjab Haryana HC stays the polls again. It is rescheduled at this point for December. The Delhi police, at many points, the Delhi police goes to court. The Delhi police makes a few statements in court regarding Brij Bhushan that we're going to talk about in a second. But they essentially say that we do have enough evidence against him. December 23, Sanjay Singh. So this is just a few days ago. This is on Thursday. Sanjay Singh, who you can see on the left side of your screen, someone who's been part of the WFI for years. He is elected to the top post. Now, this is a slice of information you need to know. It was expected that he would win. This is not surprising at all. Our reporters on the ground were telling us that the odds were heavily stacked in his favor. So that is the most recent thing that takes place. And the last thing, as of just this afternoon, the Sports Ministry suspending the new WFI body. What reason do they give? They say that the WFI had made certain announcements immediately after Sanjay Singh came into power, and they should not have made those announcements. That's essentially what they've said. They've also said the new WFI is entirely in control of Brij Bhushan Singh. So these are statements that the government has made on record. The Sports Ministry asks the IOA, you can't see that here, but it forms an ad hoc committee, and that ad hoc committee is told it's going to run everything. Now we're going to take a deeper dive into this story. We have multiple guests who are with us today, and I'm going to first greet them and then we're going to go over to each of them to understand more. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. I'd just like to introduce each of our guests. Prateek Som, an advocate and spokesperson for the JJP. Mahima Singh, a national spokesperson for the Congress, and Sunita Godra, an Asian marathon champion. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us here tonight. Ma'am, sir, I just want to tell you before we go ahead that what we're looking to understand more from you than a debate today is just how you think the system needs to be reformed. I'll ask you about your reaction to what the government did this afternoon, the government's announcement that it was going to be disbanded, the new WFI. I'll ask you about that, but then I'll come to you and ask you what more needs to be done. Let's start first with the JJP. Prateek Som, Prateek, if I may just tell our audiences that JJP is an ally of the BJP in Haryana. I think that context is necessary for our audiences. How do you respond to the government's announcement, the Sports Ministry's announcement this afternoon, that they wanted the new WFI to be disbanded? Do you think that's enough?
First of all, JJP welcomes the decision of central government to suspend WFI. See, any elections in this country is subject to transparency and fairness. And now the allegations coming in about the closeness of Sanjay Singh and Brij Bhushan Singh, they have business relations. WFI is operating from residence of Brij Bhushan Singh. These all amounts to non-fairness and non-transparency. I think government has taken right decision at an appropriate time. On the other hand, I think these wrestlers, they are very mature. They have gone at the international level. They have brought laurels to India, and especially wrestlers from Haryana has given a significant contribution. We also expect certain kind of maturity from them that the situations could be handled in a better way. However, I would like to say that, there is one saying that जब नाश मनुष्य का आता है तो सर्वप्रथम विवेक मर जाता है.
So sorry, we've lost your. So let me just tell you, we've lost your connection. It's getting a little unstable. If you could repeat your last point. So we heard you till you were saying that the sports people are supposed to show certain maturity. I'll ask you more about what you mean in a second. But what were you saying after that?
Yes. So now I'm saying that in today's situation, I would say there is a saying that जब नाश मनुष्य का आता है तो सर्वप्रथम विवेक मर जाता है. I think this is happening with Brij Bhushan Singh. His arrogance is at peak. There is no occasion to say कि दबदबा है, दबदबा रहेगा. Courts are already looking into the allegations which has been put in the charge sheet as well about the sexual assault, and there is no occasion. These wrestlers have come to play. I mean, the politics keeping it aside, I think the arrogance should not be there, and this is totally unwarranted and uncalled for.
Okay. Sir, thank you. Stay with us. We're going to keep coming back for more questions. I just want to first get a word in from each of our panelists. Okay, I'm now going to go over to Mahima Singh, who's the national spokesperson of the Congress. Ma'am, what do you have to say for all of today's developments? It's been a roller coaster journey for all of us, but what are your reactions, ma'am?
Jai Hind, first, I'm wondering where is the BJP spokesperson on a critical day like
Correct.
this? I think your panel should, you know, there should have been a BJP spokesperson, but I think the embarrassment is just...
We did try for a BJP spokesperson.
The embarrassment must be just too much for them to handle, because you see, it's been 11 months, 18th January 2023, this whole turmoil started for our players, and then at the behest of the BJP, the wrestlers, the champions were dragged on streets of Delhi in a very unbecoming manner. What the ministry has done today, Toya, I believe should have been done very much 11 months ago. 18th January 2023, this whole turmoil started. It should have been done then. Why did the government have to wait for the doomsday? Why does this government always have to wait for the doomsday till they can, take their baby steps, their first steps? I think what has been done today is a welcome step, but it is too late in the day. Too much water has gone down the Ganges. And I think today when we talk of the conduct of the man himself, look at the brazen lies he tells. He says he has no relation to Sanjay Singh whatsoever. When Sanjay Singh was the joint secretary during most of his vicious presidency of the WFI, we have seen how India was shamed world over when UWW abandoned its association with the Indian WFI and actually declared that, whatever WFI does will not be, accepted by unless they conduct elections. So I think it is too late in the day. It is too less. This government ought to answer to the unbecoming behavior that it has conducted itself in, towards our wrestlers. It needs to answer why has it not publicized the report that you were mentioning about in your initial, pretext of this show. Why is that report not public? What is so secretive about it? Or is it also pertaining to national security? Why is it that few of the members of that committee kept on objecting? Or should we believe the Supreme Court of India when it says that the BJP goes on forming committee after committee until it gets a favorable report as per its own whims and fancies? Okay. So I think all of these questions and many more remain unanswered. And the most important question remains, why does the Prime Minister who once said, if I had a daughter, it would be like Vinesh Phogat, is suddenly estranged to all of these champions who have brought laurels to our country? Are we suddenly, acting as if we have nothing to do with them? Right. We talk about wrestling being taken to another level world over in India, and then when these wrestlers go out to protest, we say, oh, this is one state, one family, one, this group of people protesting. Then suddenly, all that they've done for this country, goes down the drain. Okay. So it's highly unbecoming of the government.
Let me go over to the other person who's with us on this panel, but I do want to clarify because you did raise an important point. We did ask the BJP to be with us today. They're not here with us though. Let's go over right now to the last person we have on our panel with us, a sportswoman in her own capacity. Sunita Godra is with us. Ma'am, I just want to ask you, you're an Asian marathon champion. You've been watching this play out since January. And we've watched other sports people comment on TV, etc. Ma'am, first, if I could just have your comment on this entire controversy, then I'm going to ask you more about what your specific reaction is to what the government did and if you think that's enough or if you think deeper change is necessary.
See, what Sports Ministry has done this one, they have suspended the Federation of India. Wrestling Federation of India, which is just a band-aid treatment, because just suspension is not the answer. They should have been terminated this WFI along with the state association also, because again the election will take place and 40 votes means 40 people, those who have voting power from the associations are Braj Bhushan's persons. The lady got only 7 votes. Right. So, unless they do the surgery, the total surgery, it will not change anything. Secondly, when they have so many committees, every time they are making committees, why can't Sports Ministry make his ethics commission? Who is, which is, like a sports law, like military law, like WADA, NADA and the Anti-Doping Act. And then everything inside the house will be clean up through ethics commission and not going to the Supreme Court, the High Court, where, they have pile of cases, and one of the cases is the sports case. Whereas in ethics commission, they only look after the sports welfare. So this case will be the major number one case for the ethics commission at present. Okay. So why can't they do it? But whereas the ministry knows what is ethics commission. They have signed the Olympic Charter decade back. They should have opened up this ethics commission then. But 2016, he himself, the sports minister, when he was only an MP, not the sports minister, he went to the Lok Sabha, the parliament, and put up a very good presentation about the ethics commission, that sports must have sports ethics commission. Then we can book the culprits, we can book the corrupt people, we can book the people in sports who are doing sexual harassment. He knows everything. But all these ad hoc committees, Indian Olympic Association, I don't know why they are not doing the right thing by opening up their ethics commission, which will look after this case properly. And follow the sports law.
Okay.
How can we expect the Supreme Court, they follow the sports law? They don't follow sports law. They will follow this case like any other case. And whereas, fast court and all these, when the rape has happened, like Nirbhaya Kand and all these, this was just, for if we see the sports, it is too bad. But if we see the Supreme Court, this is one of the sexual harassment case. Okay. So they will not take action very fast. Whereas we need action very fast because worldwide we are getting shamed.
And these are women who've been making these complaints back since 2012.
Instead of shaming the person, Braj Bhushan, these Olympians are, always in a soup.
Right.
Which is very, very bad for the sports.
Right.
They lost this Olympian, Sakshi Malik. The career is now in jeopardize.
Right.
They are getting threatening for their government job now.
Okay.
And the young athletes are so scared.
Ma'am, I'll just
because
come
what
back
will happen to them? Those who are supporting
I want to come back to you,
wrestlers.
ma'am, in just a second. Let me take some of our next few questions now. No, please don't apologize. Let me go over now to Prateek Som. He's the advocate and spokesperson of the JJP who's with us. Mr. Som, you were saying that the behavior we saw yesterday from Brij Bhushan, not yesterday, on Friday from Brij Bhushan was in itself despicable. Thursday and Friday when he was garlanded, you said the chants that were chanted out, all of that was despicable. You said it needed to be condemned. But sir, I want to ask you, back in September itself, I'm going to read this out for our audiences too. The Delhi police had said, when they were presenting their case in front of the Rouse Avenue court, they said that Brij Bhushan Singh outraged the modesty of women wrestlers who filed the charges against him at every single opportunity that he got. Sir, I'm bringing this line up because it's just a month or two before that we had reports that he tried to resign and the BJP actually stopped him from resigning. So don't you expect or ask more from your ally at this point? The fact that the Delhi police had already said they have enough evidence to make statements like that, the fact that he remains a BJP MP to this point. So don't you think these questions need to be asked of the BJP? And if so, is the JJP doing that?
See, the evidence is in front of court of law, and that is to be seen during the trial whether it is proved or not. So far as advising BJP on this decision is concerned, my knowledge says that WFI is independent of the government's autonomy. It is not under government's control. Whatever decision they have to take, they have to decide on the government front. But BJP, I think, is conscious of the fact that the whole nation, including, especially people of Haryana, are outraged over the behavior this person, Brij Bhushan Singh, is, displaying. And now the suspension of WFI, and now coming in the press conference and saying that he has nothing to do with WFI, I think BJP has done its bit. But something which is also unwarranted is, which I want to mention, is that the opposition party, especially Congress, I want to know what contribution they have done in this protest.
apart from the photo ops which their leader have done, I want to ask whether Congress party, they have battery of lawyers. Did they represent any of the lawyer or their body in the Supreme Court of India?
So a former Congress leader, Kapil Sibal did say he's a former Congress leader, but he did represent.
No, let me complete. Point number 2. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh is a member of parliament. They have member of parliament Dipinder Hooda who comes from Haryana and who says that he is with the protesters, with the resters. Did he raise this issue in Parliament of India? None of this has happened. Okay. Has any Congress leader met sports minister or prime minister over this issue? There is complete mum. Except 2 things have happened, that they have gone to Jantar Mantar, did a photo ops, and then they arranged meetings with their leaders.
Mr. Som, one second. I'm not cutting you out. We have a paucity of time. I need to go to the other 2 panelists once again. Ms. Singh, I want to ask you for a very quick response, but you'll have to be succinct because we need to go over to our 3rd panelist too. Ma'am, please respond for the Congress.
Toya, if you have any other relevant questions, I think I would like to respond. I would not respond to spineless JJP's spokesperson, whose leader, Deputy Chief Minister of Haryana, never even once visited the protest site, never even talked to the daughters of Haryana. And here he is putting up a facade, masquerading as if they were really concerned for the daughters. So if you have a relevant question, I would answer. I would not heed into this slugfest that the JJP is.
All right. Okay. Ms. Singh, thank you for being that pointed. Let's go over to our 3rd sportsperson, Sunita Godra, who's with us. Ma'am, I'm actually coming to you in the end because we wanted to reach deeper solutions. The problem in this entire issue, it seemed, was that Brij Bhushan Singh's roots were so deep within the wrestling world. How do you do a surgery? You were saying a surgery is needed, not a band-aid. What does a surgery actually look like beyond an ethics committee?
Yes. Surgery is, on 4th May 2023, I wrote, I think 3 times the reminder to Sports Ministry that Ethics Commission is the answer. This was 9 months back. Okay, when the protest was going on and we were getting, from the world over, we were getting shame and all that what is happening in India with these Olympians. Now, the only solution is Ethics Commission, because as per sports law, such people who do professional misconduct, they are banned from sports for life. Once they are, now they are accused, okay? He is accused. His aides, those who are supporting him, those people are also, as per sports law, accused because they are supporting this person who is accused for sexual harassment and other things. Now, the sports law says, first they are banned from sports, suspended from sports, they cannot come to the sports arena, and once the accused is already the punishment is given or it is given, the punishment is given, then they are banned for life. So we need 100 to 200 officials in all the federations are such who are either doing corruption or mental harassment or sexual harassment or doing dadagiri. Such officials should be banned for life from sports as per sports law, as per Ethics Commission. So Ethics Commission is the answer, and I don't have to teach anything to anyone because the sports minister knows it very well. All these ad hoc committees,
we are out of time, but I do want to thank you, and I want to thank the other 2 panelists who are with us right now. Ms. Godra saying the answer is a ethics committee and an investigation, one that should have taken place 6 months ago. Let's move on very quickly. The last thing we're bringing you very quickly is breaking news coming in internationally. Let's take a quick look. Okay, these are reports we're receiving right now that 300 Indians have been detained in France. I'll try to get you more details in just a second, but we're learning the Indians were cleared by a French judge to fly. French prosecutors and the judge were keen that Indians should go back as soon as possible. But why were they detained? This is what we'll speak to a reporter to understand more on. We're learning right now that it is difficult for the Indians to fly out right now. It's not clear whether or not they'll be able to go to the India or back to the UAE instead. We'll look to understand more details on this. In just a second, we'll have a reporter join us. Siddhant, why were these Indians detained in the first place? More details required there, please. Go ahead.
Well, yes, that's right. So they were detained on the suspicion, and perhaps there was some intelligence available with authorities in France that these individuals, 300 individuals from Al Fujairah airport in UAE, are flying to US, or perhaps are being taken to US, and this is a fit case of human trafficking, and that is perhaps what was the conclusion drawn by the authorities in France. And this is the reason when this plane was landed to be refueled, because it was a chartered flight. When this plane was landed to be refueled, at that point in time, the plane was grounded by the authorities. They did not let the plane to take off, and immediately authorities approached the plane. So that's the reason that why this plane got grounded. Indian officials have got the consular access. They have been told that the efforts are being made so that these Indians can return to the country as soon as possible. Due to the Christmas holiday, and also there are some technical issues which the Indian side is sorting out. Perhaps they're coordinating with the authorities in France, and very soon these individuals can come back to India and can go to their states of Punjab and Gujarat.
Siddhant, thank you for bringing us these details. Okay, with that, we are bringing our show to a close. This was the explosive weekend debate right here on CNN News 18. Thank you for staying with us over the last few minutes right here on the show.